Hello, another episode of The Vanishing Coin. Okay, and I'm going to read the second chapter by the magician Mike Lane, co-wrote by Kate Egan, and illustrated by Eric Wright. Chapter 2, The White Rabbit. When the bell rang, Mike left school alone. Usually he walked home with Charlie and Zach, but now they had soccer practice twice a week. It was strange to walk through their neighborhood by himself. He knew the people inside every house, but he was totally alone. Mike wondered what his friends were doing without him, running loops around the field, dribbling the ball around the orange cones. He wondered if Jackson's team was practicing too. Mike really didn't want to run into him right now. He just wanted this day to end. At Nora's back door, he took off his shoes, left them on the porch, and let himself in. Her family had a lot of rules. No shoes in the house, no snacks with artificial ingredients, no fun till the homework was done. But today, Miss Flynn, Nora's mom, was standing by the door with her car keys. "There's been a change in plans, Mike," she said. "I need to get to the dentist, and it turns out he can fit me in right now. You and Nora will come along, too. Leave your book bag right here and get in the car, okay?" Mike shrugged. "Sounds good," he said. He was glad he wouldn't be stuck at Nora's. Nora walked into the kitchen holding her mom's phone. "We can play games while we're there," she told Mike. "My mom said it was okay." Usually video games weren't allowed, so Mike felt happy for about a second. Then he saw the game Nora had chosen, Scrabble. Of course, he thought, just like her. Shooting games were against the rules, and those were the kind he liked. The back seat of the van was quiet. While Nora tried to make a word, Mike stared out the window as they passed the college where his parents worked. They were teaching right now. Had Miss Scott called them yet? He wondered. The principal. Miss Finn took a right turn away from downtown. She drove past the ice cream stand that had just closed, the waterfront restaurant that had been crowded only last month with tourists eating lobster. The cold season was beginning to set in. By November, people would be hibernating, only coming out to buy groceries, kind of like right now. Winter in Maine was dark and mysterious, Mike's favorite part of the year. Nora handed him the phone. She used all 7 letters for her word to make erasers. 50 points for using them all up, she said. "Your turn." Mike's letters were all vowels. What words had only vowels? No, maybe Nora knew, but he sure didn't. He was tired of looking stupid. He shifted restlessly in his seat. Mike's mind was so full of worries, and he couldn't find a comfortable thought. The principal, his parents, Jackson, Nora, Scrabble. Each one made him squirm. When they arrived, there were a few people in the dentist's office waiting room, and the woman behind the desk had too much to do. "Yes, Miss Flynn," she said. "I know I said now, but there were 2 patients in line before you." Those patients glared at Mike as he drummed on the arm of his chair. Nora nudged him. "What about your word?" she asked him. She sounded like a teacher. "I'm skipping my turn," he said, handing her the phone, "giving up all my letters and taking more." "You know you have to subtract from your score," Nora asked. "I don't have a score," snapped Mike. He turned away from her, toward a stack of magazines on the table behind him. Movies, fashion, sports, fishing. Mike flipped through the whole stack, looking for something interesting. Even that was too loud, though. "Shh!" someone hissed. Mike slammed the magazine down hard. He was getting mad. Nora stood. "Can we take a walk?" she asked her mom. "Just around the corner." "Just around the corner?" Before her mom could answer, Nora added, "We'll check in every 10 minutes. We won't talk to strangers, please. We need to get out of here." Somehow, she knew that Mike was about to explode. He felt better as soon as he took a deep breath of the cool air outside. Sometimes all he needed was a change of scenery. And change of scenery is when you take yourself somewhere different than where you were. You go into another room, go outside, your scenery has already been changed when you do that. He followed Nora down the street. Not much was going on out here. The dry cleaner on the corner was closed for the day. There were only one customer in the hair salon, and after a little while, Nora stopped in front of a weird shop that Mike had never seen. The sign on the door looked like it had been there for 100 years. It said, "Welcome to the White Rabbit." And here are the few pictures that are in the book so far. Well, the sign looked like it had been there for 100 years. It was in handwritten letters, but there was a brand new welcome mat out front. It said, "Believe," in bright red. Mike couldn't figure it out. "Believe what?" Nora said. "That people ever go shopping here." Mike smiled for the first time in hours. "Let's check it out," he replied. The bell rang. Then they walked into the store, but nobody came out to greet them. Nora followed Mike into a room full of what his mom would call antiques, but his dad would call junk. There were old mirrors, dented trunks, lamps without shades. Mike wrote his name in the dust on the table. On a shelf near the back, there were a few cool things for sale: whoopee cushions, disappearing ink, snakes in a can, jokes and tricks. Instantly, Mike was in a better mood. Who knew there was a joke shop in town? "Want a piece of gum?" he asked Nora, handing her a pack from the shelf. She reached for the stick that was poking out, and a hidden spring trapped her fingers. Lots of girls would have screamed, but Nora cracked up. A gifted girl with a sense of humor. Mike had never met one of those before. Mike shoved his hands in his pockets. He felt something crinkle. "A $5 bill. Look," he said to Nora. "Let's see what we can get." He totally owed her for getting him out of the waiting room. She picked up a set of plastic teeth with bright red lips. She wound them up and set them on the floor, where they hopped across the carpet, jaws moving up and down. Nora giggled. "Looks like they're talking," she said, "or chewing gum." A man in a black shirt finally came out to the counter. "Can I help you?" he asked. He had a gray beard, a bushy hair sticking out like he had been shocked. When he got closer, Mike could see tiny silver stars shining on his collar. Mike remembered his manners. "Well, we'll take the chattering teeth, please," he said, and he felt in his pocket for the $5 bill, and suddenly there was another one. $10 altogether. More money than he had since his last birthday. Mike had no clue how $10 had appeared in his pocket, but he knew just what to do. "Make that 2 sets, he said. The chattering teeth made the afternoon a little better. Mike and Nora raced their teeth on the windowsill while Miss Finn was in the dentist's chair. Mike still felt like a loser, but at least his teeth won first place. When they got home, his parents had a serious talk with him. They talked about setting limits. They talked about getting him a tutor. It wasn't as bad as he had expected. At least it wasn't anything new. After dinner, Mike went outside to ride his bike in the driveway. Pretty soon, Jackson came around the corner on his bike, twice the size of Mike's, and painted with flames. He bragged about the drills he'd done at soccer practice. He was faster, stronger than everyone else. If you believe what he said, he'd scored 1,000 goals. He was ready for the Olympics. When he wasn't bullying, he was bragging. Mike could hardly wait for him to leave. After a while, he said, "Hey, did you know there was a joke shop downtown? Look what I got." He took the chattering teeth out of his pocket. Somehow they turned things around for him today. But Mike should have known their power couldn't last forever. He wound them up and put them on top of this picnic table where Jack could see them hop. That's when they split into two and collapsed. There he is, looking really unhappy. Of all the people this could have happened to him in front of, Jackson, his arch enemy. And that's the end of chapter 2. We'll read chapter 3 another day. Thank you, and I hope you enjoyed it.